It's our anniversary. Dun, 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 dun. Tomorrow will come, girl, I can't wait. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. And this is going to be a message for the collective. The messages are timeless, so when you see them is when you're meant to hear them. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Also, please don't forget to hit the post notification bell so you can get alerts when my videos are posted. If you're new to my platform, welcome. Please hit that subscription button. It would totally mean the world to me. How is everyone doing today? Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Come on in, welcome, hello, hello, and hello, everyone. We are actually live everywhere today. Hi. Come on in, and come on in. Come on in. All right, today is Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. February the 11th. Happy Hump Day. Come on in, and come on in. All right, so we can already talk about sigils and signs today. Veves, things of that nature. That's strange, but okay. So yesterday everything was having a complete moment. And so some things didn't get to be uploaded, put in, because my phone was doing a lot. And I literally came and I made a whole video yesterday about everything that was happening, everything that was I was going through. From 2021 to 2022, not because of anything other than the fact that sometimes stuff gets forgotten, and then as you're still dealing with and going through stuff, hold on, y'all, it still needs to be made note of. So I was making a chronicle list of things that had happened. And so this morning, the first thing that I saw, we're gonna go over here, is a crematory, which is strange because, thank you so much. I done drove past this place like 10 times and never saw that was there, but for some reason today, it was for me to make note. And so the first thing I want to do is, y'all already know I like looking up words and things of that nature. Let's go look it up and see what that means and where that actually came from, okay? So we're gonna go over here. And y'all just been up since freaking 2-something in the morning, literally. So still running. All right, crematory. The other thing is, so even the way for some reason it said cemetery. Sigils and signs. Crematory is a place where a person's body is cremated, reduced to ashes after death. All right, so what is the etymology? All right, so the message yesterday basically has something to do with DNA. And so it'll go up, but it's up, not up right now. But it still has something to do with this. Because yesterday, after I said that and I started making note, like, why would somebody do this and what is the list? Like, why would I be important to anybody, right? Because who am I? But the amount of things that happened just didn't sit right. And so I kept doing this thing because it keeps going back to DNA, DNA, DNA. And so after I got off live yesterday, another lady comes up with is some DNA stuff, right? Mind you, the same message I gave yesterday, I run across a lady, this is what she's talking about. So chronological. So I think it has to do with a placement in time, like how everything happened. The dates could potentially be off, but also the moment in time, the things that they mention, right? Like how they would say, this took place during this time, this took place during this time, all of these things, but it's not adding up and something's just not right. So a crematory literally means a place for burning, specifically referring to the burning of human remains. All right. Tracy, yes, please. And I don't know why, because even this thing wanted to give a little bit of information. So, as you know, it's been a lot of lies being told. And there's some truth even within the lie. But it's also lies by omission, because like this thing didn't want to give me all the information. That's another sign. All right, so, it has Latin origins. The root comes from Latin cremare, meaning to burn. From that late Latin formed crematorium, meaning a place for burning. Entry into English. The word entered English in the late 19th century, around 1870s or 1880s. Something don't seem right about that. So it's given timeline, like timelines being off. This time is important because modern cremation practices were being revived in Europe and the United States. The first modern crematorium is in the USA was built in 1876 in Pennsylvania. So that could potentially be important. As a cremation became more socially accepted, English needed a formal term for the facility. So crematory, crematorium became used. Crematory versus crematorium. Crematorium is closer to original Latin form. Crematory developed as a shortened English form. Both are correct, though crematorium is often considered slightly more formal. So the word isn't ancient in English usage. It became common when modern cremation facilities started appearing in the 19th century. All right, so I need to do a double check because even yesterday it started to be a thing. Don't check, get a second opinion, right? So I'm gonna just take this over here and we're gonna place it in Google and see what Google says, because not for nothing, everything is important, right? The lady that was talking about the DNA yesterday was saying that because they were trying to trace the stuff back to 23andMe, and this is what I have for 23andMe, and like I said, there's already a message about it. It was talking about why would they be doing other testing. So if a company like 23andMe is primarily trying to connect your DNA to relatives, ancestry, or populations, they don't actually need to check your health-related variants. Those are separate pieces of information. Ancestry and relative matching done by comparing shared segments of DNA. So come to find out, they were using the DNA to also give you health-related things, which the only reason why anybody would be doing that, and it could be whatever they're doing, but anybody outside of that is because, and I'm gonna just say this because Nick Cannon came up also, and allegedly one of his children's mothers is saying that he was having children. She had to stop him from trying to use one of his kids as a donor, allegedly. Don't know if that's true or not. But it's also been a lot of things coming up about people being sickly, like, some of these famous people. And so they feel like, some of them feel like they don't have to go the traditional route, or they should be able to jump themselves in front of the line. But it could also be about, the people who don't want to just, the people who have a lot of financial backing, right? So them trying to figure out who's a match for who. Don't know if that's the case. I'm just saying. All right, so then it's starting to be a lot of information coming out about who is really who. So some people saying that they have this ancestry, and I'm gonna just use the Jewish people for instance. When I said in the previous video that for black people, it's always having to prove. We have to always prove. Good morning, Mr. Steele. Mr. Steele, I wanted to let you know that I'm also I'll text you when I get off here and tell you it's Thursday. Um so anyway, the people who are having being genetically tested and things of that nature, trying to find their families, some people are not who they say they are, but when it comes to certain groups of people, they always try to make it hard for black people to say that they come from wherever, right? And that was one of the things. So black people had to prove that they were Jewish. Mind you, they went back to, it was in Africa, to some tribe that said that, they were Jewish, of Jewish bloodline, Jewish descent. So then these people, I guess they try to match these people's blood to these people's blood, but meanwhile, these people are older. These people already been here. And they wouldn't just take the people's word for it. It was like they had to prove it. And that's weird, because every time it comes to a situation between, them and us, and I'm gonna just say basically color wise, we have to be the ones that are always proving something, and that doesn't make any sense, especially when genetically they know how we got here, right? All right, so etymology of crematory, however you want to say it. Over here says crematory derives from the Latin crematis, past past participle of cremare, meaning to burn or consume by fire, and at a suffix ori, from Latin aureus, denoting place for, emerging in the 1870s as a nativized form of crematorium. It literally means a place for burning. All right, so we'll just hold on to that, because literally, like I said, it's important, because literally it caught my eye. I done drove past this place 9,000 times. But also it's saying, and I ain't telling nobody to do nothing, but all I hear is burn it down. Take it how it resonates. All right, mind you, this ain't the first time I heard that. So let me see, what year did all right, so another thing that came across my vision was they happened to be digging and tearing stuff down because they want to put up something new. But when they started digging in a particular place, it looks like this little house is sitting on top of a castle. So how did so many things get covered up? And this is the thing. Just go for, if Noah, like when God told Noah to build the ark and everybody laughed, right? People were, jousting on him or joning on him or whatever. But meanwhile, Jonah ended up being correct. I mean, Jonah and the whale. Noah ended up being correct. And so Noah was on the ark, and he saved whoever, right? But mind you, the flood would have covered up a whole lot of stuff. And so it keeps being a thing that I keep wondering how certain people got a footing or a hold so deep into the system, right? And so if it would go back to the times, because it's a lot of digging happening right now, and it's a lot of recovering of old things. And if by what they're saying, it don't add up, because there's no way that even here it's pyramids, it's castles, it's a lot of things that are not making sense as to how a particular group would have gotten something, right? So it says the White House was burned by British troops on August 24th, 1814, during the War of 1812. Reconstruction began 1815 and was largely completed by 1817. That's 2 years. President James Monroe moved back into the rebuilt White House in October 1817. Again, it's get a second opinion. So we're going to go over here and transfer and get a second opinion, because something is happening and it's fire. But mind you, not to even mention, because the last time they said that God promised that he wouldn't flood this place by water, right? It was supposed to be God's promise. That's where the rainbow and all this other stuff came from, right? So they're guessing that it would be fire. But meanwhile, people are trying to build locations and things of that nature. The White House was reconstructed between 1815 and 1817 after being burned by British troops in August 1814. Architect James Holden, who originally designed the building, was appointed to rebuild it. All right, maybe that might, and so it matched. So I'm gonna just say, I guess. What year was it built? All right, so the thing is, I said we're going to talk about sigils and signs, things of that nature, right? So a sign could be like me holding up a sign. That's a sign. Or it could also be when I drove past that building and I seen something, or, you know, and it was a sign. It could be something happening in the times. It's a sign, right? But mind you, because we have to remember that words have different meanings, because house could be my, you know, my house that I live in. It could also be my body. It could also be my zodiac sign, right? Also in a vessel, because for some reason it seemed like things were put on maritime status. So y'all, I don't even know where we going. All I'm just giving you is what's happening. So walk with me, because hopefully it makes sense, because I don't know. All right, so construction of the White House began in 1792. It was completed in 1800, and President John Adams was the first president to move in later that year. So groundbreaking happened in 1792. It was first occupied in 1800. All right, so there are 8 years. So 8 years is what it took to build it, is what they're saying from the beginning. All right, so so they said, I asked, was it all the way burned down? No, it was not completely burned down to the ground. When British troops set it on fire in 1814, the interior was heavily damaged, and the roof, much of it inside, was destroyed. However, the exterior sandstone walls remained standing. The structure itself was still intact, enough to rebuild from the existing walls. All right. Now, I need to know what was there before. Okay, so what I hear right now, what we discussing, is that Lady Liberty and the Statue of Liberty are not the same thing. All right. So as y'all know, if you go look it up, Lady Liberty was the statue that was on this land before them people came over here doing stuff. Statue of Liberty came from a different place, from some other people, and it looked like them after it got here. Lady Liberty looked like me. Okay? So look it up for yourself. Um, Before the White House was built, the land was rural farmland and woodland specifically. The property was owned by a Scottish immigrant farmer named David Burns, sometimes spelled Burns. It was part of open countryside with fields, trees, and small farm structures. The area was Tiber Creek, which flowed through that would be later Washington, D.C. There was no major building or mansion on the exact site of the White House. When the federal government created the new capital city in 1790, the land was purchased from local landowners, including the Barnes, and the site was selected by Pierre Charles L'Enfant, who designed the city's plans. Do y'all not hear these names? All right, so I'm going to double check because, again, we're going to just double check. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to also pull up Lady Liberty for y'all. But something is not right because listen to the names. So let me give y'all a charger real quick because y'all about to die. And we don't need y'all to die because we already talking about shit being burnt the fuck up. And so something is happening. And I told y'all yesterday, YouTube, y'all wasn't here and y'all ain't seen the message yet. But something is completely off and wrong. Okay? So I'm going to just say it because feel it in the air. All right? And mind you, it's been a lot of things coming across my screen that are also saying, like, this land, this place, these people will do stuff and then they'll try to blame other people in order for us to have clashes with other people. Meanwhile, the call is coming from in the house, okay? So take it how it resonates. So I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna ask the same exact thing because, again, timeline ain't adding up. Something is off, all right? And so why is this important? Because in order for us to know where we're going, we got to know where we came from. And the truth, the whole truth has to be told. Meanwhile, a lie by omission is still a lie, all right? Take it how it resonates. And also, this land is my land, all right? So take it how it resonates. Before the White House was constructed in 1790s, the site was partially part of a largely undeveloped swampy area along with the Potomac River. The land chosen by George Washington. The property was owned by a Scottish immigrant farmer named David Burns, sometimes spelled Burns. It was a part of a countryside with fields, trees, and small farm structures. This is what chat says. Google says, before the White House was constructed in 1790s, the site was part of a largely undeveloped swampy area along the Potomac River. The land chosen by George Washington, 1791, consists of forests and wetlands, which were previously inhabited for thousands of years by indigenous people. Y'all. For thousands of years by indigenous people, including the Nakatochi, Nachatank, and Piscataway. Let me go back to what chat said. A matter of fact, I'm going to take what Google said, and I'm going to just copy it into chat, because literally, this is how I literally stop it from lying once it starts lying, okay? Because it literally just told us a damn lie. Or somebody's telling us a lie. This is the thing. I don't know who's telling the lie. Either way, they're telling a lie because this is their shit. Okay? Keeps being a thing. So I'm going to copy that over here, and I'm going to put it in the chat. All right? Now let's see, because this thing says Pierre Laflante, such and such a no name that belonged to indigenous. All right? So mind you, also saying that house that they staying in ain't theirs. All right, your statement is mostly accurate with a little nuance. Here we go. Before construction began in 1790s, the White House site was part of a largely rural landscape near the Potomac River. The border area then that became Washington, D.C. did include woodlands, marshy, but it didn't want to tell me that before. Woodlands, marshy, and low-lying areas, creeks and wetlands, including Timber Creek. It was not entirely swamp, but parts of the region were damp and undeveloped compared to European cities. Indigenous presence. Long before European settlement, the land was inhabited by indigenous peoples for thousands of years, including the Nachatatok, Anacostia, Piscataway, those two different people. They lived along the rivers, which were rich in fish and fertile soil. We want our land back now. And I'm going to just say, because I told y'all, we're not going to have to do nothing. They're going to have to give it up, and they're going to have to give it up willingly. Why? Because we call them back for everything that belongs to us. These people are fucking weird. They lived along the rivers, which were rich in fish and fertile soil. This is the reason why this shit is cursed. And y'all heard the word, I told y'all, it caught my eye. I didn't even know that was there that whole entire time. But literally the messages have been being put into my spirit this whole entire morning. I said, I don't even know where we're going with this. Don't know nothing about this. Don't even know why I would even be called to listen or look this up. Okay? All right. So, they lived along the rivers, which were rich in fish and fertile soil. 18th century ownership. By the time George Washington selected the site in 1791, the land had already been claimed under colonial Maryland, divided into farms and private estates, owned in part by David Burns. So historically, the sequence, and I said the timeline is off. That's all it kept saying. That's all I keep hearing is the timelines are off. Lies by omission is still a lie. Y'all do know and understand that a lot of these indigenous people that were already here got reclassified, and then they started bringing in their own sets of, Indians and saying, these are the Indians. These ain't the Indians. These are not the indigenous. It is their group of people that they brought in and they taught the language. We have to know the truth, the full truth, the pure, unadulterated truth, every bit of it. And they're not telling the truth, because in order for them to, continue on with this charade or whatever the hell you want to call it, you can't lie by omission. All the cards have to be put on the table. And for all the people saying they have to tell us what they're doing, the whole story. The whole story has to be told. Not a particular part, because guess what? Even for this being here, I know it's still partially a fucking lie. So historically, the sequence, indigenous habitation for thousands of years, colonial farmland in the 1600s and 1700s, federal acquisition and city planning in the 1700s. Just because you bring your boat to a certain place, don't make it your land. Remember, they just said that. And so, if in fact see, it be times like this when literally I be really having to talk to God, because it pisses me off, and you know, I want to know the truth. So you know, we have to take the truth, we have to, you know, digest it, understand it, be rational thinking in the process, because you know, emotionally responsible, right? But the thing is, what pisses me off so bad is that for so long you've been lying, you've been using trickery, you've been doing all these things, and not one time did you ever feel bad to wake your dumb ass up and say, maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I shouldn't be this type of nasty. Maybe I should acknowledge the people that I lied, cheat, and stole from. But these people never come up with that. It's always more, give me more, give me more, give me, give me, give me, give me, give me. Put their foot on people's neck, and they still doing it to this day. And then people want to start with us over, are you not mad enough? No, your bitch ass ain't mad enough, because literally this is the shit that's embedded in y'all fucking DNA. And y'all don't wake up on nary given day, nary given Sunday, and say, let's go and handle this business. Let's go take care of this because we were wrong. Y'all will make it seem like everybody else is wrong outside of this shit. Because it's a lot of y'all, a lot of people still sitting on land that don't belong to them. And it's the reason why when I be had that whole little thing, because the land is shaking. And I kept saying, it's going to be an earthquake. It's a fucking earthquake that I keep feeling it. All this shit going to fall right in it. And they should fall in it too, because this don't make no sense. That is crazy. So your overall point about indigenous presence and wetlands is correct. It just helps to clarify that by the 1790s, it was already farmland rather than untouched wilderness. Do you not understand the lies that I'm also hearing? Because if indigenous people lived there, what the hell do y'all think they was doing? Let's ask. Because they be trying to really make it seem like they wasn't doing nothing. Like it was like scavengers and real fucking people who wasn't, like, you know, literally intelligent. We had better stuff, better buildings, better everything before these people showed up. So you're not going to sit here and try to play in my face and act like we don't know that. So the indigenous people who lived in the regions that became Washington, D.C., including the Nakachink, I don't know how to pronounce that. It's Nacothtank, Anacostan, and Piscataway lived there for thousands of years. Not hundreds of years, thousands of years. Before Europeans colonized, their lives were deeply connected to the rivers, forests, and seasonal cycles. Fishing and river life. So not only did they come in and start doing, you know, reconstructing the land and things of that nature, but also messing up what was already there. The Potomac and the Anacostia rivers were central to daily life. They fished for shad, herring, sturgeon, and eel. They used dugout canoes for travel and trade. They practiced agricultural growing crops, often called the Three Sisters: corn, beans, squash. Don't that sound like farming to y'all? So, see, just give the message. They also grew tobacco and other plants. Farming villages were often near rivers because of fertile soil. So yesterday we talked about the yield, the Canaanites, the land will not yield for them. So this is why you have to enslave people to get them to do it. This is why my aunt says it all the time. If you can't grow vegetables or things of that nature, it's because you have bad energy. It's them people. The ground will not yield for them. It's already said in the Bible. Meanwhile, we accidentally grow. Like literally, it's stuff that grows here all the time, and I'm trying to figure out, like, I didn't plant that. I don't know what that is. Every time I see my aunt, literally, she just says she just throws the stuff down on the ground and it just comes up. It's so many people, but mind you, she friends with somebody that lady can't grow nothing to save her soul. She keeps telling my aunt to do it. It's because she part of that group. This is also what it says. So they grew tobacco and other plants. Farming villages were often near rivers because of the fertile soil. Hunting and gathering. Hunted deer, turkey, and small game. Gathered berries, nuts, especially walnuts and acorns, and medicinal plants. Village life. That's pissing me off right there too, but I ain't gonna say nothing. Village life. Lived in long houses or communal dwellings. Organized in clans and complex social systems. Had leadership structures, often with the chief, Tayak, among the Piscastaway. Trade and diplomacy. Traded goods like pottery, furs, and food with neighboring tribes. Later, they engaged in trade with European settlers in the 1600s. Spiritual and cultural practices. And see, this is another thing, because again, I'm being shown big lavish buildings. They're still lying. And even if some of these things are true, it's still a lie by omission, because they're still leaving some stuff out. Because there were buildings, stone buildings, even back then. Traded goods like pottery, furs, and food with neighboring tribes. Later, they engaged in trade with European settlers in the 1600s. They held ceremonies tied to seasons and harvesting cycles, honored ancestors, and maintained spiritual relationships with land and water. The rivers weren't just sources, they were transportation routes, trade networks, and spiritual centers. By the time Europeans arrived in the 1600s, many indigenous communities in the region were already well established. Agricultural and politically organized societies, not nomadic or underdeveloped. They were often portrayed. All right, so this is what I need to know. What about the stone buildings from back then? All right, so it says, in a specific area where the White House now stands, there was no solid archaeological evidence of large stone buildings built by the indigenous prior to the European colonization. The indigenous people of the Chesapeake Bay region, including the Potomac area, typically build long houses, wigwams, structures made from wooden frames, covered with banks and reed mats, seasonal camps, agricultural villages. These were durable for their time, but not stone architecture like you might see in places as the Southwest. Pueblo cliff dwellings, or Mesoamerica. Why no stone buildings there? The cultural and environment influenced buildings. These people be lying and fucking lying. Why? The cultural and environment influenced building methods. The Mid-Atlantic region had abundant wood, clay, and plant materials, so stone construction was not common or necessary. Many structures were designed to be renewed or rebuilt periodically. By the 1700s, European settlers in Maryland and Virginia did build. That's a fucking lie. All right, so let's go back over here, and I'm going to take what they put over here. I'm going to ask the Google what did the indigenous people did too, because again, let's just see. Let's see what Google says. Y'all, this shit is just, they be rewriting fucking history right in our fucking face. Like, they're doing it again. and they're doing it via this shit. So Google says these are the results for what did the indigenous people do while they were there. Indigenous peoples across America thrived for thousands of years, again, by adapting to their specific environments through diverse complex systems. They engaged in hunting, fishing, gathering, agricultural cultivation, corn, beans, squash, sustainable and management. Societies built permanent villages, developed trade networks, created art, and played games like lacrosse. So many groups practiced sophisticated agriculture while others were hunter-gatherers, utilizing methods like fire stick farming in some regions, resource management. They managed the land, gather wild food and fish, with many coastal groups utilizing seafood. It's Maryland, so what the fuck? Social and cultural structure. They lived in organized societies with complex political. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, this is crazy because one thing should match the other. It just don't. They lived in organized societies and complex political religions with social structures, daily life, and specialized roles. Children learned by working alongside adults, tending gardens and gathering. People built various shelters, including longhouses and wickiups. Commercial travel, extensive trade routes existed with people traveling by canoe and on foot. All right, so it says some of the same things, but I'm going to ask it the same exact thing. What happened to the buildings? Because literally, these buildings are there. They're under mud. So something has happened because literally I'm watching them dig them the fuck up. Like they're being dug up right now as we speak. All right, so what about the building? So I'm going to ask them the same thing I asked these people. Either way, we already know that a lot of this stuff is being programmed by, those people. And so something is not right, but literally, things are what they are. You are where you're meant to be at this moment in time. And regardless of whether or not they think they got the, master plan, God always has the final say. So I said, what about the stone buildings from back then? This shit say, stone buildings from antiquity and early history were favored for their extreme durability, accessibility, and strength, utilizing materials like limestone, marble, and granite. Early techniques included dry stone construction, no mortar or lime mortar, which structures often feature thick concentric walls designed to last for generations, such as Skara, Bray, 300 BC, or Roman, Greek, and medieval structures. Hold on. Are they thinking that I'm talking about somewhere else? Let's see if they think I'm talking about somewhere else, because I need to make sure that they know that I'm talking about them before I say they lied, because literally they telling the truth, but I don't want them thinking that I mean anywhere else. So what about the stone buildings from back then with the indigenous? Indigenous people in North America and beyond utilized stone for complex, enduring structures long before European arrival. I'm concerned as to why they keep trying to cover up stuff. Why they keep trying to lie. And why is it like always a rewriting of the history, but meanwhile we are the freaking idiots because literally we're sitting here allowing them to do it right in our face. All over again. So it says, contrary to the myths of limited stone use, key examples include ancestral Poplodon cliffs, dwellings, ceremonial mounds, and dry stone walls. These structures built for habitation, ceremony, and in some cases land management, like stonefish weirs, demonstrate sophisticated engineering and environmental adaptation. Now I'm gonna take this and put it right over here where they just lied to me at and see what it says, because every time it gets caught, it tries to now do something different. Y'all, this is just the weirdest thing. This should now say, you're absolutely right. Indigenous people across North America built complex, enduring stone structures long before European arrival. But it literally just told me a whole paragraph up there that didn't happen until them people came. The idea that stone construction was rare or unsophisticated and myth rooted in outdated narratives. Here's the context. Built multi-story stone and adobe dwellings, Mesa Verde, Chanta Canyon, use shape blocks, mortar. Beyond the U.S., across the Americas, Maya, Aztec. Hold on, let me see what this is saying, because literally I think it's trying to do the same exact thing that they did a minute ago. All right, why, I don't even know what this name is, but I know I'm from Delaware and I know that it's Nanacoke. So I'm trying to figure out, is this word that they're using supposed to be for Nanacoke? But that's not, that don't spell Nanacoke. They're saying not your, let me see where the hell these people came from. It's Nanacoke Indians. So I don't know where this is coming from, but we'll see. For the specific Potomac White House site, the Notchtank and Piscataway were agricultural societies with permanent villages. Their primary building materials was wood, bark, and earth, not large stone masonry. They reflect the regional environment choices, not lack of sophistication. Different indigenous cultures adapted their ecosystem. Stone architecture flourished where geology, climate, and cultural traditions supported it. Indigenous civilizations absolutely built advanced stone structures in many regions. So that would be, that's the particular group lived where the White House now stands, did not typically construct large stone buildings in that style. All right, I gotta grab this book for y'all, because we talked about sigils. We talking about sigils and signs. What about the surrounding areas? And I think it might be here, but I don't know if this is the book, but it's I got a book that shows different. No, this ain't the book. It's a book that shows symbols. All right, so hold on, let me see. It says the area surrounding the future White House site, basically the broader Washington, D.C. and Potomac region, had a mix of environments that shaped how indigenous people lived and built. Forest and woodlands, dense forest, oak, hickory, pine, and maple provided wood for houses, tools, and canoes. But a minute ago, they tried to seem like they was just living in mud huts. Settlements were often cleared, small plots for crops. They try to act like that didn't exist, but after I asked it, remember, this is all the things that it said. But I'm gonna go get another book that I need, and I'm gonna show y'all something, because it has signs. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Well, I just figured out. I literally just went upstairs, and mind you, for some reason, I have two of these books. This book is upstairs also. Don't know how. Anyway, this is the Illustrated Guide to the Lost Symbols, the history, the secrets, the discoveries. The unauthorized companion to the best-selling novel and the revealing connection between the Freemasons and our national capital. So they stole some shit, and then they started building on it, right? And so it says, let's see where we go. This book was written in Illustrated Guide to Lost Symbols. Copyright 2009. All right. So The House of the Temple, The Mystery of W.L. Winehurst. Did his name come up anywhere here? Not that I see. I see James Monroe and I see somebody else. It says The Capital, America's Secret Destiny. It says excerpt from The New Atlantis by Sir Francis Bacon. There was somebody else name that came up that they said had something to do with something. Pierre Charles L'Enfant is the name. It says the Invisible College, Masonic Civility during the Revolutionary War, the Great Seal of the United States. Let's see what is, because we talking about sigils and signs, but literally when they said sigils and signs, in my mind, it took me to the snake in the rose. And it had sigils. When I seen that movie, it had sigils on the wall in plain sight. But to the person that don't know what sigils are, it would look like a piece of artwork. That wasn't art. They were doing spells right in that movie, right in our face. The Snake in the Rose movie. Enter. Let's see if it finds it. Evidence may never be found that can confirm the specific sources of L'Enfant's inspiration. That's this man right here that they just said. So he's actually in this book. Let me make sure that that was who it was. I think that's who it was. Yep, Pierre Charles L'Enfant. He's right here in this book. A traditional geometric order clearly informs this design for the city, but the way in which it was used indicates an original and open approach, the hallmark of a true artist. L'Enfant worked sensitively with the topography of the landscape and consciousness of the American people and his own creative genius as the architect crossed and recrossed the landscape of the future city. Its diverse forms inspired a new and compelling synthesis of politics and palace or place. And then it has, so I'm going to show y'all some of this stuff that it has in here. An illustration guide to the lost symbol, and for some reason I don't know what this is, but it shows you it's a map of the Potomac River and what was happening at that point in time. So it also says wherever the Potomac River was on this side, and then what is this? It says a plan of the city intended for the permanent seat of the government of the United States. L'Enfant 1791 plan, along with Jefferson's handwritten notes, are included in this facsimile created by the U.S. Coast and Geographic Society in 1887. So those are handwritten notes that are in this book that they did. All right, so screenshot it if you like. It also says, and I don't know how it says Pierre L'Enfant and the founding of Washington, D.C. Mind you, I don't know how I just opened to his page from the gate anyway. So there's that. Pierre L'Enfant designs the federal city. So it actually has that. So maybe I'll just read it and look it up later on. It also has here, it says on April 15th, 1791, The southernmost boundary stone home plate of the diamond of the District of Columbia was ceremoniously laid by Jonesport in Alexandria, Virginia, an African American astronomer. It's right there. But mind you, they also say that you're not supposed to be doing astronomy. But mind you, they're doing it. It's right here in the book. They laid certain things based off of American astronomer Benjamin Benneker, Benneker, made the celestial observations necessary to ascertain the exact location. Subsequent stories were placed in 1 mile intervals along the periphery of the district. The boundary markers all right here, based off of astrology. So literally, when people are saying they're doing, bibbidi bobbidi boo, magic right in your face, literally it's right there. It's right here. They brought some people in to literally do the groundwork, lay the foundation based off of astrology. So it was on April 15th, 1791 is what they're saying. And it says that there's a home plate that's there, home plate boundary stone at Jones Point Lighthouse, Alexandria, Virginia, far right looking south. The boundary stone down the Potomac. I need some glasses on. Potomac towards George Washington, Mount Vernon. It's showing you all the things that they put in there. Over here, what is this shit? It could be said that even today, Alexander Hamilton presides over the Treasury Department on the base of the statue, and the words of Daniel Webster about Hamilton. He smote the rock of the national resources, and abundant streams of revenue gushed forth, he said. He touched the dead corpse of the public credit, and it sprang upon thy feet. So this book has a whole bunch of different stuff in it. It has something about the Great Dinner. The framers of the Constitution were well aware Congress and their other branches of the federal government needed a permanent home. Since the convening of the first Continental Congress in 1774, the lawmakers had often found themselves on the run, not just from the British troops, but from angry American veterans demanding payment for their services during the Revolution. Perhaps this history of fear and exile inspired Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution, which granted vast power to Congress over the federal district that would include the capital city where they stole property. So, I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna see what's in there, and we'll see, because literally, like I said, I don't know why it's signs, but clearly it must be something, because I didn't even remember this book until we got here. So maybe it might be something in there that I'm supposed to be looking up or need to see. Anyway, so let me see. It says it doesn't remember maybe I might got the title wrong. So it says it doesn't look like there's a well-known title. I think that's what it's called, The Snake and the Rose, in the mainstream cinema database. No, it wasn't in the mainstream. It was like some side type movie. Here's what relevant might be closer to what you're thinking of. A similar film with Snake and the Rose themes. A working early title related to the Ballad of Jack and Rose. No. Spider and the Rose, silent historical drama. Not directly Snake and the Rose, but title. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'll see if I can find it. So, sigil. It says the word sigil refers to a symbol with magical or mystical significance, often used to represent a specific intention, power, or spirit. So this is actually like calling in. And most people don't even realize it could be right in your face. it may look like a design. And it's also like Veve. And for some reason, this little dude keeps coming up too. I don't really like mentioning people's names, but he's a streamer, and all of a sudden it's being real, strange. But mind you, I literally said to somebody, the moment I seen a certain celebrity start going around that person that came from, California, the minute I seen these people start to go around this person, I knew something was gonna happen. Anyway, so he got a noun of clothing design or some other stuff. And mind you, the minute I seen what he named his clothing line, it looks like, yup, you got it. You know it, Abby Grace, that person. The minute I seen them start going around him, because literally he was out of their control, out of their reach. So they should have kept that boy from the mainstream, them people that they should have kept that boy away from them, because now something is wrong. And mind you, everybody's, no, he's going to start doing this. Nah, he's fucked up. He let them people come around, and now look at him. Yep. So anyway, Veve is another symbol in where you can call in spirits and things of that nature. Mind you, if you're not involved in none of these worlds, you wouldn't even know what they are. But when you know and you can see, then you know that that's not a painting. That's a sign, a symbol that has been placed to call in energy. And so some people, they'll just be thinking, oh, la, 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 we just here. Nah, you're here because this is here. And so, and I can show y'all some stuff that y'all would probably just be like, I wouldn't think that was something. Yeah, it's calling in entities. And they're calling in entities to be able to do work. So, key points about sigils. Purpose. Sigils are typically created to focus intention or manifest a desire. In magical practices, a sigil is charged with energy through meditation, ritual, or visualization. So a lot of y'all don't realize that sometimes right on social media, people can post pictures and it'll be an overlay or underlay of a particular sigil or sign. This is how, when you wonder why random ass people, they be like, we make the weirdest people famous. No, y'all don't realize that sometimes they're the one that's doing it, because whatever they put behind it, and I look up some stories, because there are stories that exist and people don't believe them, but mind you, they have to tell you. And so y'all can say, oh, it don't exist. But meanwhile, that's your foolishness, that you are not paying attention to what people are telling you. They're saying it right in your face. And so now it's your dumbass fault, because I told you. You didn't listen. It happens. So often abstract or stylized symbols, and I can pull some up for you. Because like I said, I watched the movie, and it wasn't until I was heavily like, that's that. And that it ain't right. But meanwhile, most people don't know. It's like if y'all ever seen one of the ladies that does, I don't know if she does whatever the witch stuff is. She says she literally went and called real witches, people that practice. And I don't really like to say witches, because it's not that. It's like, they call herbalists witches. If I go in the kitchen and start cooking and mixing seasonings and sauces, mind you, your grandmama would be considered a witch, because she cooking up that good stuff. They put, stuff in there to help you heal. But the people that they call, or the occult is what I want to say. But she said in order to make the series right, they literally did real spells right on television. Right in your face. And if it's a lie, they telling it, because she literally sat there and said that. And so most people don't see it or understand it. It's images that literally look like things of this nature. It's like logos and things of that nature. So when people it's a lot of logos that y'all may not know or understand, but you see them on big companies. Same. So it's stuff like that. Very easy to overlook, especially in a movie. But it be right there on the wall, right in your face. Historical use used in Western occultism, particularly in grimoires or ceremonial magic, also appear in other cultures in symbolic. I don't know why I got to stutter today. Like, that's weird. In symbolic or talismanic forms, modern context. In chaos magic, a sigil is often created for a specific personal intention, then forgotten after being charged, letting the subconscious mind work towards it. Example, you might take the phrase "I am confident," turn it into letters into a unique symbol, and use that as a sigil to reinforce confidence. So people do it like with their names and things of that nature, but mind you, it's a occult practice. Veve. It's like when different entities, they have their own Veve. And so meet you at the crossroads so you won't be lonely. Veve, sometimes spelled it's a V-E-V-E, but they put the little lines over top of it. A sacred symbol in voodoo to represent spirituals or spirits, loas, like Papa Leg, but that make more sense. Veve meaning, a Veve is a ritual symbol drawn on the ground, usually using cornmeal flour or powdered herbs. Each Loa spirit has its own Veve that acts as a signature to summon or honor them. The Veve is both a focus for spiritual energy and sacred invitation for the spirit to attend a ceremony. So Papa Leg was Veve. And this is where people always be, doing stuff, because if they ain't called you, don't go calling nobody. And this is where, people just always want to be doing stuff until the stuff starts doing, okay? His Veve typically features cross lines, which I'll show y'all what it looks like. But mind you, each one of them have their own. So it's like things of this nature. It will look real cool on a wall, but you don't realize you go to somebody's house, this is on the wall. And there it is. And mind you, just because not for nothing, I had one sitting at the table and nobody ever notices it. They just think that it's a walaikum salam. They just think that it's just like a piece of art. That's not a piece of art. So you could be going to somebody's house. You could be this is Ogun's Veve. So again, they're real pretty. They look like pieces of art. But if you look in movies and things of that nature, you'll be wondering like, oh, that's a pretty piece of art. That's not a piece of art. I mean, I guess it is, but it's really not. It's surrounding, spirits and things of that nature. Certain people wear Solomon, like you'll see them, they wear necklaces. It looks like this. Like, it's a lot of people walking around here with like spiritual protection and things of that nature on, and or spiritual coverage on, and people don't know what it is. They're just looking. If you see people that wear necklaces and things like this, and so it may be a coin, it may be like any type of material or something, because one time not for nothing. And this is the other thing, people that be doing shit like this, they always think that, and I ain't saying everybody, I'm just saying that I had a particular run-in with a bitch that basically thought that she could play in my face and, you know, started fucking with me, and I wasn't fucking with her, but somewhere out of the world she just chose me. And I kept noticing that she was wearing this necklace. And like I told her, bitch, that necklace ain't gonna save your ass. Why? Because I don't do nothing to people. And y'all keep fucking with people that ain't fucking with you and not realizing that certain people is protected already. Meanwhile, long story short, everything she wanted from me ended up fucking happening to her. Be mindful of what y'all playing with, because people be playing with spirits and things of that nature. Mind you, don't go calling nobody unless they call you. Please and thank you. Anyway, so veves are not just decorative. They are charged with intention, often with prayer, music, or offerings. Mind you, like I said, this person named their clothing line a certain thing, which also ran triggers to me, because I said, why would they name their shit that? It's way too close to, like, the minute I heard it, it literally gave me this. So again, now people out here playing around, but not realizing that we at the limit where I done already said to people, don't do nothing. If you already know you covered by whatever this is at this point in time, you don't have to do anything, because the blood was already put out there. Your ancestors praying this, that, and the third, your grandmom, your grandfather, the people that already was here protecting you, whether or not people know it or believe it or not. But even in that Bible, it says Abel's blood cried from the ground. That's how God knew that he wasn't around. Abel didn't have to tell God he was dead. His blood cried from the ground. So the amount of blood that has already been spilled on these lands already know them people don't belong on that property. I don't care how many protections you put around, how many symbols you put to try to hold your ass. When God opened that hole and drop your ass in it, that's what it's going to be. And excuse me for the cussing. But at the end of the day, it's shit like this that be pissing me off, because people always fail to realize or act like they're bigger than God. You can put as many sigils, as many signs, as many, try to do bibbity bobbity boo on anybody. When God say it's over and it's done and these people are protected, just return the shit, please and thank you. Like, that would be the best thing for y'all. Just return the shit. Because pretty soon, it's not even going to be, asking of anything. Because if I already said it, I know other people don't already said it as well. Return the stuff. Unhandeth our things. And mind you, literally undo everything that you did. I literally keep saying that to people. Undo everything. Everything that you're doing right now, undo it. Because now ain't the time. Like, the amount of spiritual everything running through this place right now, through this world, anything that you're doing, undo it. Because you could have potentially targeted the wrong people, the wrong person, the wrong situation, the wrong. And it's like one of them things. When it comes through, it's going to do a sweeping. And then y'all going to be out here crying, wondering why. Oh, why did this happen? Bitch, because you got people in your freezer. Bitch, because you keep talking and putting your mouth on certain people using their name. Spell casting. Like, undo it. Undo it, throw it away, back away, say you're sorry, and go on and get up out of there. Because I'm telling you, like, people do not realize the repercussions through everything that's basically already had happened. Don't nobody got to say nothing to y'all at all, period. It's already done. The amount of blood that y'all already spilled, the amount of dirt that y'all have already done, I don't care what you put. I don't care what you put. I don't care what sigil you use. I don't care who your great-grandmama was. I don't care who your great-granddaddy was. If y'all have done anything against anybody and it's basically needing to be undone, bitch, you better undo it, because it's going to get you and everybody else along with it. Undo it. It's as simple as that. Tell the truth. This is who was here. This is what we did. And I mean in everything. So I'm just utilizing this and saying this. But meanwhile, it's going to be a clean sweep. Take it how it resonates. On that note, let me tell y'all what I got for y'all. Excuse me. Y'all, this is just sickening. It's just so sad that people can just be so evil and not even get the hint, even when God just be saying, like, just give it back. Just stop doing what you're doing. Just, it could all be so simple. But they rather make it hard. Lauryn Hill try to tell y'all niggas. Just keep doing shit, doing shit, doing shit, doing shit, just because. I told y'all, a liar will do anything. A liar and a thief will do anything to continue sitting in a position, even doubling down, even when they're being told, back away from that. Don't do that. Like, I done let you get away with this shit for so long. Just please stop. But no. Y'all don't know how to do that. All right, whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. Surely He will save you from the fowler's snare and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wing you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and report. You will not fear the terror of the night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, nor the plague that destroys at midday. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. You will only observe with your eyes and see the punishment of the wickedness. If you say, the Lord is my refuge, and you make the Most High your dwelling, no harm will overtake you, no disaster will come near your tent. For He will command His angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. They will lift you up in their hands so that you will not strike your foot against a stone. You will tread on the lion and the cobra, and you will trample the great lion and the serpent. Because He loves me, says the Lord, I will rescue Him. I will protect Him, for He acknowledges my name. He will call on me, and I will answer Him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him with long life. I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. Amen. Thank you guys for being here. Hopefully that helped. Go with God.